Shemp Howard's death had some devastating consequences. Shemp Howard was born Samuel Horwitz on March 11, 1895, in Brooklyn, New York, was an iconic comedian and actor, most famously known as one of the original members of the slapstick comedy trio, the Three Stooges. He was the older brother of fellow Stooges, Moe and Curly Howard. As a child, Shemp exhibited a natural sense of humor and was a born entertainer, often making his friends and family laugh with his wit, funny faces, and impromptu performances. His personality and comedic instincts made it clear early on that he had a gift for entertaining others. Shemp grew up in a Jewish immigrant family with his 5 siblings, where humor was part of everyday life. His family struggled financially, but they shared a tight-knit bond, and this helped foster the comedic dynamics that Shemp would later bring to the screen. After finishing school, Shemp found himself working odd jobs, but his heart was always set on show business. He began his career in vaudeville in the early 1920s, performing alongside his brother Moe and later with comedian Ted Healy. Healy was an established vaudevillian, and his act, which incorporated the talents of the Howard brothers, eventually morphed into what would later become the Three Stooges. Shemp's early performances in vaudeville with Healy marked the beginning of a long and successful career in comedy. He was known for his versatile comedic style, which included physical comedy, witty banter, and his famous reactions to slapstick situations, particularly his exaggerated expressions and vocal reactions. Shemp was one of the original members of the trio when it was first formed in the early 1920s, alongside Moe and Healy. However, in the early 1930s, Shemp left the act due to creative differences with Healy and a desire to pursue a solo career. He felt that Healy's aggressive personality and domineering control over the group were stifling his creative input, so Shemp decided to forge his own path. This was a bold move, as vaudeville was highly competitive, and leaving a successful group was a significant risk. However, Shemp was confident in his abilities and sought greater freedom to develop his comedic persona. During the 1930s and early 1940s, Shemp carved out a successful career in Hollywood as a solo comic actor. He appeared in numerous films, often in supporting roles, but always made a lasting impression with his unique comedic timing and physical humor. Shemp became a reliable character actor, working with prominent comedians such as W.C. Fields and Abbott and Costello. His roles ranged from bumbling sidekicks to hapless victims of slapstick mishaps, but in every performance, he brought his trademark blend of exaggerated reactions and subtle wit. Some of Shemp's most notable solo work came from his collaborations with Vitaphone, a short film production company where he starred in a series of successful comedy shorts. These films showcased his natural comedic ability, and Shemp quickly became a fan favorite. His popularity in these short films helped him build a loyal following that extended beyond his work with the Stooges. In 1946, after his younger brother Curly Howard suffered a debilitating stroke that forced him to retire from the Three Stooges, Shemp made the decision to return to the group, stepping back into the trio as a replacement for Curly. Shemp's return marked a new chapter in the history of the Stooges, as he brought his own distinctive style to the group while still honoring the spirit of the act. His comedic approach differed from Curly's. While Curly was known for his childlike innocence and high-energy antics, Shemp's comedy was more grounded in his exaggerated facial expressions, vocal reactions, and his more everyman persona. This return to the Stooges was bittersweet for Shemp, as he was stepping in to help the group during a difficult time, but he also understood the pressure of living up to Curly's beloved legacy. Despite this, Shemp was well received by audiences, who appreciated his unique comedic approach, and he quickly won over longtime Stooges fans. The chemistry between Shemp, Moe, and Larry Fine remained strong, and the trio continued to produce a series of successful short films throughout the late 1940s and early 1950s. Shemp's contributions to comedy, both with the Three Stooges and as a solo performer, have left a lasting impact on the world of entertainment. He had a knack for physical comedy that was coupled with his expressive face, making his reactions and interactions with his fellow Stooges memorable. His ability to seamlessly blend slapstick with witty, often self-deprecating humor allowed him to stand out in the realm of vaudeville and film comedy. In addition to his physical comedy, Shemp had a gift for improvisation. He could take even the most basic scene and inject it with humor through a quick quip or a simple movement, adding layers to the comedy that were often unplanned. This talent made him a valuable asset to the Stooges and helped the trio continue its success after Curly's departure. Although Shemp is sometimes overshadowed by his more famous brother Curly, his contributions to the Stooges and to the world of comedy are undeniable. Shemp brought his own comedic style to the group, which helped the Stooges maintain their popularity during a period of transition. His work has influenced generations of comedians who followed, particularly in the realm of physical and slapstick comedy. Shemp Howard was a private man who enjoyed a quiet home life away from the limelight. He married his longtime sweetheart, Gertrude Babe Frank, in 1925, and the couple had one child together, a son named Morton. Despite the hectic nature of show business, Shemp remained devoted to his family and often enjoyed simple pleasures like fishing and spending time at home. His off-screen personality was said to be more subdued than the characters he portrayed, and he was known for being kind, gentle, and soft-spoken. Shemp Howard's death had some devastating consequences that deeply impacted both his family and his career as one of the legendary comedic figures in Hollywood. On November 22, 1955, Shemp unexpectedly passed away from a heart attack while riding in a taxi with friends after attending a boxing match. He was only 60 years old, and his death came as a shock to his loved ones and colleagues. For the Howard family, losing Shemp was a profound emotional blow. He had been a pivotal figure in the family, not only as a brother but as a loving son and a steady presence. Shemp's passing left a void that his brothers, Moe and Curly, and his extended family struggled to cope with. Shemp's death also had serious ramifications for the famous Three Stooges comedy trio. He had rejoined the group in 1946 after his younger brother Curly Howard suffered a debilitating stroke, stepping in to replace him at a time when Curly could no longer continue. Shemp's presence had helped the Stooges remain a strong box office draw, and his unique comedic style and chemistry with Moe and Larry Fine kept their popularity alive. When Shemp passed, the Three Stooges faced another crisis, as they were still under contract to produce films for Columbia Pictures, leaving the group in need of a replacement or another way to fulfill their obligations. In response to Shemp's sudden death, Columbia Pictures made the controversial decision to continue producing Three Stooges shorts by using a stand-in actor, Joe Palma, to fill Shemp's role. This led to the creation of the fake Shemp era, where Palma appeared in scenes with his face obscured or filmed from behind, and old footage of Shemp was recycled. While this technique allowed the Stooges to complete several films, it marked a downturn in the quality and authenticity of their work. Fans of the Stooges were quick to notice the awkwardness of these scenes, and this approach diminished the comedic magic that Shemp had brought to the team. His comedic timing, facial expressions, and improvisational skills were irreplaceable, and the group's dynamic was forever altered. The loss of Shemp also contributed to the eventual decline of the Three Stooges' popularity in the years following his death. Although they later brought in Joe Besser and eventually Curly Joe DeRita to round out the trio, the group struggled to regain the same level of success they had enjoyed during Shemp's tenure. Shemp had been one of the original members of the Stooges before leaving in the 1930s to pursue a solo career, and his return had been seen as a stabilizing force for the act after Curly's departure. Without him, the team was never quite the same. Additionally, Shemp's death underscored the physical toll that years of demanding, slapstick comedy had taken on the members of the Stooges. Both Curly and Shemp had died relatively young, largely due to health complications that could have been exacerbated by the strenuous nature of their performances. Their brand of physical humor, involving constant pratfalls, face slaps, and exaggerated stunts, had made them household names but also placed their bodies under significant strain. Shemp's heart attack was a stark reminder of the risks involved in a career that demanded high-energy, physical performances, and it foreshadowed the later health struggles of Moe and Larry, who would both face their own physical challenges in the years to come. In the broader context of Hollywood and comedy, Shemp Howard's death symbolized the end of an era for slapstick and physical humor. The Three Stooges had been one of the last great acts of the vaudeville-inspired, physical comedy tradition, and with Shemp's passing, the golden age of this brand of humor was nearing its twilight. His contributions to comedy, both as a stooge and in his solo work, left a lasting legacy, but his untimely death robbed the world of one of its most beloved comedians, and the impact of his absence was felt by fans and performers alike. Shemp Howard's death had a ripple effect that stretched beyond the immediate loss felt by his family and the Three Stooges team. It affected the group's creative output, the legacy of the Stooges, and the direction of physical comedy in Hollywood. His passing marked a turning point, not just for those who knew him personally but also for the genre of comedy that he helped define. In the years since his passing, Shemp Howard has been recognized for his contributions to comedy and for his role in shaping the success of the Three Stooges. Though often viewed as the third stooge after Moe and Larry, Shemp's legacy has grown over time, and modern audiences have come to appreciate his unique comedic talents. The Three Stooges, as a group, have continued to be celebrated in popular culture, with their short films being regularly aired on television and honored through retrospectives, film festivals, and tributes.